everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. I have been thinking a lot about Xbox's Game Pass and how it has exploded into this service that everybody wants to talk about and discuss and sort of have these great hopes and ambitions for. And I thought I would give my 2 cents on it, if you will, and my thoughts on Xbox's Game Pass. Now, for starters, as I have said in many videos before, growing up, I knew nobody on my street, nobody I hung around with, nobody in the schoolyard that I knew ever mentioned Xbox or talked about Xbox. It was always PlayStation or Nintendo. Now, fast forward many years, up until the present day, I have never owned an Xbox. I really don't have very many Xbox experiences. I have a few in the stores, especially when it came to the 360. But I really have no experience until relatively recently when I was able to finally get one. Now, what's important to understand with Xbox, especially now, is this whole Xbox Game Pass. And for someone who's never had an Xbox console up until now, someone who many of these Xbox exclusives I have just never played, Xbox Game Pass can be quite enticing. Now, having just said that, as many of my viewers and people know already about me, is I prefer the physical media wherever possible. Whether it's movies, CDs, video games, I don't care. I prefer the physical discs. And having that sort of physical representation of the money I spent on, like the product, the physical product, I like having that. Now, that is a little old-fashioned, and I am fully aware that this type of mentality is going away. It is more convenient to have things digitally, and in many cases it's a better way of going for, in terms of being more green, saving money, saving the planet in some cases, assuming we can fix these massive energy hungry servers that we have that do consume a lot of electricity. But in an all way, it is seeming to be a better way of doing things. It also can preserve a lot of the games from the past, and I know there's a lot of people that are doing that type of thing to archive and keep copies of these older games, and that one day could be, I'm always hoping for this, for free distribution of these older games that no one can make money on anymore. Would be fantastic. But that's a whole different topic, and I might dive into that some other time. But with Xbox Game Pass, for somebody who has never played many of these Xbox games, I think it's an excellent price for what you get, right? You're getting well over 100 games. Often they're putting new games on this system, and what's more important and most interesting to me is you are going to be able to get day one new games, so that when a new game is released, day one you get it on Xbox Game Pass. I think that's absolutely stunning. So you can try it out, essentially, without having to put your money down. Now, being a man who likes his physical media, as I said previously, I have a love-hate relationship with Xbox Game Pass, because I want to support the physical as best as possible and as most as possible. And so I've sort of had this internal struggle with buying or purchasing or getting a subscription, I should say, to Xbox Game Pass. Now, I eventually have, and I have to say I've really enjoyed my time with it. But it has also made me want to support the developers, because I'm not 100% certain where some of this money is going that I'm giving Microsoft every month. And it's a really good low price. I'm paying $10.99, which is really good here, and this is in Canada. So I'm actually pretty happy with what I'm receiving. And the game genres are diverse. They're from everything from first-person shooters to main Xbox Series staples like Halo. You've got your puzzle games, your adventure games. You've got your RPGs. You've got your indie games, platformers. You have a whole host here, which is very, very nice, and I was not expecting that. To be honest, I was expecting mainly just Xbox main staples like the Halo series, and maybe a couple of other things like shooters or other popular type games like that. But it's really nice to see this plethora of diversity on this sort of streaming service, and I'm quite happy about it. Now, as I said, there's that other part of me that goes, hey, what about the physical? And how do I support the developers and show that I'm interested in this game? I want them to have the incentive to make more games like this. What do I do? So if I already own a copy of a game, so for example, I've already bought it on a previous system, then I've already supported the developers, so I don't feel as bad if it's on there and it's just as quick to hit a button. However, for games like Forza Horizon 4, I have never played that game previously in the series, and I've been really enjoying my time with it. And I mentioned before in the games that I'm playing about a month ago, it has been really, really fun, and I really, really like it. So in order to satisfy my guilt, I am buying and purchasing games that I want to support, and that's how I'm approaching it and how I'm looking at it. I'm playing games that come out to test them, because I'm not one to adopt and purchase a game day one. I usually wait, because as many people have seen in the past, you get a lot of these half-baked games that come out, and I don't want to have to pay a lot of money for something that I can't really play all the way through, or is so buggy or broken that I have to wait many months before they fix it. That to me, I rather wait, because it can give you a bad taste in your mouth. And there are many games that I have had that happen to me. One of them was Assassin's Creed Revelations. I remember I got maybe a third of the way through it, and it was just completely buggy. The facial models, and they were like warping, and it was awful, and it really bothered me, and I immediately stopped the game and said, this is not for me at this moment, and I have never touched it since. Now, I am planning on eventually going through all of the Assassin's Creed games, and I'm starting right now at Assassin's Creed 1, and been playing that quite a bit on the PC, because that was the only place I could find it. And it's really good. And so it's got me energized to play all these Assassin's Creed games again. And I have played the first Assassin's Creed, but not to completion. And that's the thing. I often play a lot of games and never really finish them. But I really like the Assassin's Creed games, so I want to at least finish the stories so I can see more of these connections between them as the series progresses. But anyways, it's another aside for all of this. I get sidetracked a lot, as you can see. But with Xbox Game Pass, you can test a game, and I do like it for that reason. And see, is it a game that I'd like? Is it a game that's not buggy or glitchy, and if I spent money on it, would it be worth it? And so for those things I like. And the third option, of course, is for someone like me who never had experience with a lot of Xbox exclusive titles. Now is an opportunity for me to experience them and play through them and enjoy myself in those. I've never been one of these people who are console fanboys. I just like games for the sake of games. Ideally, of course, it would be great if all the video game companies got together and made one console where you could play all these games. It would be just fantastic, wouldn't it? But because they're not, and it's good for competition, of course, to make sure these gaming companies stay on their toes and give us the best services and products possible, there's that competition, and I do enjoy that as well. But that means exclusives, right? So I didn't get to experience all these exclusives from Xbox, and now I can experience that, which is great. Now, for those games, like as I said, that I have enjoyed, for example, Forza Horizon 4, I have already bought. I bought them to show that support, and it makes me feel pretty good about it because I'm able to say to the developers, you know, I enjoyed the product, I bought it, here's my money, take it. I enjoyed that, and it's definitely going to keep allowing innovation to occur, hopefully, in the gaming industry. So I have a lot of weird thoughts about this, right? It's very conflicting for me because I had to sit down, and I've had my Xbox now for a few months, and I've had to sit down, and it was a struggle. It was very strange, like an impersonal demon, like I was fighting back and forth, and it was very, very interesting for me to go through this internal struggle and eventually come to the conclusion that I was going to purchase the Xbox Game Pass to enjoy some of these things. And I made these pros and cons, essentially what I'm doing with the camera right now with you guys, for myself, and going through them to figure out whether or not I thought it was worth it. Now the price, at that price point, it's fantastic, right? You're not going to get another better deal in terms of the price to get all of these games. That's another thing too. If you buy one of the brand new 9th generation consoles, right, and you're getting 100 games from the gate, what more could you ask? And I think that's absolutely fantastic from a gamer perspective, right, and for playing games. And as I said, they've done a very, very good job with it, and especially with all those companies that Xbox has acquired. We're probably going to see even more titles being put on Game Pass, which is great. And I'm looking forward to the future of where this is going to go. And as I've said before many times on the channel, I know that the future of gaming is going to be digital. Right? I remember a time, and I think I've shared stories before, where you could go to EB Games, which now, even in Canada, is now being changed to GameStop. So really, I'm gonna have a hard time transitioning to that one, but GameStop, or going to Best Buy, or going to Walmart, you could actually get physical CDs or CD-ROMs for computer games. And I remember being able to pick those boxes up and other big box PC titles and have them and put them on my computer. And nowadays, you don't see that. It's very, very rare for there to be any kind of physical based game anymore. You get a couple of software things or you know, antivirus and malware stuff you can buy still, but not a lot of games, right? Everything's moving into that direction. PC's already gone there, and now we're seeing things like you know, even with the Switch and Nintendo, and with the new generation, or I should say the current generation, as it is over a year, way into the second almost now, of these consoles. You know, it's the whole society is moving in that direction, especially now with the pandemic, right? It has raged and really changed our entire infrastructure of society. More and more people have got accustomed to using streaming services and online shopping and all this online consumption. So I do think that this is the future, and even though I would prefer my physical copies, and I'm so glad, for example, that the Xbox and PlayStation, even though, as I've heard many rumors that PlayStation was going to release only a digital console, and they added on at the last minute the drive, the DVD drive, I'm very appreciative of that because I prefer to buy it as many physical copies as possible of things. And so when I ever can get my hands on the PlayStation 5, which I have not been successful yet, I have had the PlayStation in my cart so many times and have not been able to purchase it. It always is a struggle, and I feel so upset when that happens. But when I am able to get it, it's going to be the physical edition with the DVD drive so that I can buy those physical copies. So with that, guys, what are your thoughts about Xbox Game Pass? I would love to hear them in the comments below. What's your thoughts also on games I should play on Game Pass? What's your favorite types of games on Game Pass? I'm actually going to release a Game Pass top 10 games that I've seen and played on there that I think people should check out, you know, just for my own flavor and fun. As well as I'm also thinking about doing that thing about gaming preservation, a video on that, because I do think I have a lot of thoughts and ideas about that. So with that, guys, I hope you all are doing very well. Thank you so much for watching this and spending some time with me. And above all else, take care and stay healthy. Bye-bye for now.